This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
.6:15, this is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Dulmin Samarasinghe and read by Niranjan Abesundara. The Minister of Health takes strict action to control the spread of COVID-19. Minister Udegamapilla points out the Port City Commission has no authority to sign agreements with other countries. Further consideration of petitions challenging the Colombo Port City Economic Commission draft bill postponed until tomorrow. The President will visit Valanvita village to review the progress of development programs. Minister Mahinda Amaraweera says that legal action will be taken after identifying destructions caused to all forests. In world news, India records world's biggest single-day rise in coronavirus cases. Sports news cricket, Bangladesh ended the second day in a strong position. The leader of the Puthur Helurumaya, Minister Udegamapilla, said only local citizens and foreigners who have been given visas to enter the country are at the port city. It is limited by the local laws. He said it will not be ruled by another government. During a media briefing today, he said the Port City Commission has no authority to sign agreements with other countries. He further said that MP Dr. Vijayadas Rajapaksa should inform the country under which clauses of international treaty the Port City would become a separate state. He added the US ambassador should reveal the clause of the act that will make it a money laundering hub. He also questioned with Omar Pesoberethera how it will become a Chinese colony. The Supreme Court today postponed further consideration of petitions challenging the Colombo Port City Economic Commission draft bill until tomorrow. The petitions are expected to be taken up for consideration from 10 a.m. tomorrow. Earlier today, petitions were called before a 5-member Supreme Court bench consisting of Chief Justice Jayanta Jayasuriya, Justices Bhuvanika Vihara, Priyantha Jayawardena, Murudu Fernando and Janak De Silva for the fourth consecutive day. Nearly 20 petitions have been submitted against the draft bill by many parties. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa will visit the Valanvita village in the Haldamulla General Secretariat area in the Balur district on Monday. Government Alpinic program was first held at the Valanvita village. The President will visit the village to review the progress of development programs in the village. Balur District Secretary Damayanti Parnagama said solutions have been given to many problems in the village. Erecting an electric fence to prevent wild elephant entering the village from the adjoining forest reserve is in the last stages. The army is conducting development activities of the Kumarathana school. Minister Mahinda Amaraweera said that legal action has been taken after identifying destructions caused to all forests. He mentioned this while editing a function to distribute saplings at the Elvetical Housing Complex. The program has been organised jointly by the National Savings Bank and the Colombo Municipal Council in connection with the World Earth Day. Mayor of Colombo, Rodi Saranaka, said necessary steps have been taken to ban bringing in polythene to the Colombo city from the World Environment Day this year. Secretary Minister of Mass Media, Jagat Vijayveera, said that media organizations should understand their national duties and act accordingly. He mentioned this while attending the meeting of media secretaries today organized by the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The meeting took place at the Kumarathunga studio of the SLBC. He said it is important to combine nationality, ethics and culture with the world and give that information to the public. Director General of SLBC, Chandrapal Enage, said Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation reflects the Sri Lankan identity. SLBC has become a platform to the public today. It is a responsibility to reveal the truth to the people. Director General said the government has not influenced in any manner. Prime Minister and Media Secretary Rohan Balivita said media has this responsibility to build a better media culture. He said state media organizations have a special responsibility in this regard. Chinese State Councillor and Defence Minister Wei Fenghe is scheduled to arrive in Sri Lanka on an official state visit next week. According to the Government Information Department, the Chinese Defence Minister will be visiting the country from Tuesday to Wednesday next week. General Wei is scheduled to hold bilateral discussions with President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, the Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa and other senior government officials. The government is considering regulating Sri Lanka beauty pageants following the recent incident at the Mrs. Sri Lanka for Mrs. World finals held in Colombo. State Minister of Women and Child Development, P.L. Nishanta, said that at any event using Sri Lanka name must be monitored in future. The beauty pageant should be regulated to ensure they meet international standards. He said his ministry will have discussions with private organizations to reach a consensus on this matter. Sri Lanka Pradhan Perimana Kuliyapitiya District MP Samanpriya Herath said opposition is trying to disrupt the government's program to improve the economy of the people with a mega development drive amid the COVID pandemic. He said opposition is attempting to place the entire blame of the Itasandi attack on the government. He was speaking during a media briefing at the party headquarters in Battalamula today. He pointed out the President and the Prime Minister have clearly stated legal action will be taken against all those who are connected with the Itasandi attack. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
HDFC Smart Goals. All it takes is 3 years.
Police media spokesman D.A. Jadisrohan has said that over 1.2 million telephone calls have been received by the emergency number 119 last year. He said he received more than 300 calls a day. However, he said 93% of them are not related to emergencies. Therefore, he requested the public to use 119 hotline number to inform only emergencies such as a sudden disaster, crime or accident. The 5 youth who were arrested on charge of reckless driving on the Southern Expressway have been granted bail by the Parliamentary Magistrates Court. They were arrested by the Highway Traffic Police Division in connection with the offence committed by them on the 10th of this month on the Southern Expressway. Suspects were today released on a personal bail of 500,000 rupees each. Charges were also filed against the original owner of the vehicle, and he was fined 5,000 rupees by the court for not following the proper procedure in registering the vehicle. And that ends local news for now.
Darling, our daughter has top O-level results. Do you know what this means?
Yes, just 3 years and she'll be going abroad for her degree.
For which we'll need a bank loan.
But is a normal loan the smartest option?
What else?
The smartest way is to start an HDFC Smart Goals account.
Let your child begin their degree with no delays. Start an HDFC Smart Goals account. Call 2356 888.
Honey, you're so smart.
HDFC Smart Goals. All it takes is 3 years.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
State Minister of Primary Health Care, Epidemics and COVID Disease Control, Dr. Sudarshini Fernandes said health authorities have decided to strictly enforce the health guidelines. He said that the guidelines will be strictly enforced over the next several weeks. Health Ministry has also decided to take legal action against anyone violating health guidelines. Health Ministry said that authorities will crack down on parties and events with large gatherings where health guidelines are not being strictly enforced. That was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
On to Watchlight. Police spokesman D.A. Jadisrohan has said Ministry of Public Security has decided to purchase modern equipment that are being used globally to spot drivers who drive vehicles after consuming or puffing drugs. He said this at a special meeting held recently at the Ministry in order to discuss issues and operations concerning drivers who drive vehicles after taking drugs. That came to in Watchlight.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of
the best discount in this Aurudhu season, People's Leasing Polywasi. Enjoy an interest rebate of 25% from People's Leasing for all the leasing facilities during this Aurudhu season. Call 011-206300 for more details. Conditions apply.
People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
India records world's biggest single-day rise in coronavirus cases. Russia said it will retaliate again if Czech spy row escalates. NASA's Perseverance rover on Mars makes breathable oxygen for the planet's carbon dioxide atmosphere. India recorded the world's highest daily tally of 314,835 COVID-19 cases today as a second wave of pandemic raised new fears about the ability of crumbling health services to cope with. Health officials across northern and western India, including capital New Delhi, said they were in a crisis with most hospitals full and running out of oxygen. Doctors in some places were advising patients stay at home, while a crematorium in the eastern city of Muzaffarpur said it was being overwhelmed with bodies and grieving families had to wait for their turn. Russia said today to retaliate against any new steps taken by the Czech Republic against Russian diplomatic staff as a spy row between the two countries threatened to escalate into a new round of expulsions. Russia ordered out 20 Czech diplomats on Sunday after Prague expelled 18 Russians the day before. On Wednesday, the Czech Republic demanded that Moscow allow the return of all 20 staff to Moscow by today or face further evictions of its diplomats from Prague. An instrument of NASA's Perseverance rover on Mars has made oxygen from the planet's carbon dioxide atmosphere. It's the second successful technology demonstration on the mission, which flew a mini helicopter on last Friday. The oxygen generation was performed by a toaster-sized unit in the rover called MOXIE, the Mars Oxygen In Situ Resource Utilization Experiment. It made 5 grams of the gas, which is equivalent to what an astronaut at Mars would need to breathe for roughly 10 minutes. And back to the headlines of the world news. India records world's biggest single-day rise in coronavirus cases. Russia said it will retaliate again if Czech reply escalates. NASA's Perseverance rover on Mars makes breathable oxygen from the planet's carbon dioxide atmosphere. That was world news.
World News. Brought to you by courtesy of
The best discount in this Urdu season, People's Leasing Polybasi. Enjoy an interest rebate of 25% from People's Leasing for all the leasing facilities during this Urdu season. Call 011-206-300 for more details. Conditions apply.
People's Leasing, the trusted leader.
Development news, the Navy has handed over 350 thalassemia infusion systems produced by the Sri Lanka Navy Thalassemia Infusion System Project, operating under the Naval Social Responsibility Initiatives to the Ministry of Health at the Navy headquarters yesterday. The Navy Research Development Unit manufactures these thalassemia infusion systems and make them available to thalassemia patients free of charge. That is development news. We get on to sports news now. This is cricket. Today, the second day of the first test between Sri Lanka and Bangladesh at the Palakkad International Stadium in Kandy. Batting for Bangladesh was 474 for 4 wickets at stumps today. The match was delayed by bad light. Football news. Real Madrid president Florentino Perez said European Super League is on a standby despite 9 of the 12 founding teams withdrawing. After a furious backlash against the proposed tournament that was announced on Sunday, all 6 Premier League clubs involved withdrew on Tuesday. Spanish club Atletico Madrid and Italian sides AC Milan, Inter Milan have also formally pulled out. Olympic news. Athlete protests and political messages will remain banned at the Olympics, the IOC said after a survey found that the majority of competitors were in favor of keeping the ban in place. That means raising a fist on the podium or taking a knee would still risk punishment at the Tokyo Games this year. The IOC said it surveyed more than 3,500 athletes over the past year, and 70% said it was not appropriate to demonstrate or express their views on the field of play or the opening or closing ceremony. You can send in your sports news to newsslbc@yahoo.com. That was sports news.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply. Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
The central bank has undertaken a fresh project to introduce amendments to the Finance Business Act, the statute applicable for regulation and supervision of licensed finance companies. The project has received the approval of the Monetary Board to develop the legal framework governing the finance and leasing companies in the country in line with the international standards. The main aim of the initiative is to address the gaps in existing law and to further strengthen the regulatory framework applicable to the sector. That was Business News.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money. Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Economic news. courtesy of...
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
The pandemic struck apparel sectors of Sri Lanka and Bangladesh are in urgent need of joint collaborative efforts from suppliers and brand buyers in the industry, which is key revenue generator for both the nations, is to return to normalcy. Analysis carried out by the Institute of Policy Studies of Sri Lanka and the Centre for Policy Dialogue Bangladesh stressed that for a speedy and sustainable recovery of the apparel sector, it is imperative for value chain-based solutions to materialize at the earliest. You can send in your business and economic news to SLBC News, slbc@yahoo.com. That was Economic News.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
On to the weather. Met Department says showers or thunder showers will occur at several places in the western, Sabaragamuwa, central, Uva, north central and southern provinces during the afternoon or night. Flurry of falls about 70 millimeters can be expected some places in the central, Uva and Sabaragamuwa provinces. A few showers may occur in the western province and the Golmata district during the morning tomorrow. That was the weather report, and you can log into our official website www.slbc.lk to listen to all our news bulletins, channels and for further information. In the meantime, we get back to the main news headlines. The Ministry of Health takes strict action to control the spread of COVID-19. Mr. Udegamapilla points out that the Port City Commission has no authority to sign agreements with other countries. Further consideration of petitions challenging the Colombo Port City Economic Commission draft bill postponed until tomorrow. The President will visit Venalvita village to review the progress of development programs. Minister Mahinda Amravita said legal action has been taken after identifying destruction caused to all forests. In world news, India records the world's biggest single-day rise in coronavirus cases. Sports is cricket. Bangladesh ends the second day in a strong position. That is the news. Back to your friend and mine, Heshma Samantha, keep you entertained on this evening. Over to you, Heshma.